Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to the 1000 subscribers Q&A. And before I begin, I want to thank those of you that have been with me for this long, and for those of you that are new to the channel, I welcome you and I want to thank you guys for supporting my channel. We got a lot of questions here, so let's get started. The first few come from Daniel Law. The first question is, what foreign language films do you think people should check out? I could throw out an obvious answer like Seventh Samurai or things like that, but here are the movies that I always tell people to check out when it comes to foreign films. The first one is Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. If you want to see cool creature work, an interesting story within a story, this is the one to check out. Two of them that go together are the Raid films. Both of them are amazing action films that a lot of movies have been borrowing from lately. So if you want to see where movies like Judge Dredd got their ideas, watch the Raid movies. The last one I tell everyone to look at, and though the remake is okay, and if the remake would have been introduced on its own and the other didn't exist, it would have been fine, but the original Old Boy, if you want to see where the Daredevil TV show and honestly some of the other Marvel stuff on Netflix got their ideas for some of their fights and things like that, check out Old Boy. The hallway fight between, it's one guy versus a gang, and the guy has a hammer. I'm just gonna leave it at that. This movie, the guy gets abducted and he's held away for like a decade, and then he's released, and then he has to figure out who it is that took him, and it's one mind F of a movie. I don't want to spoil much for you. Just watch it. It's an amazing film. The next question from Daniel is there any direct-to-DVD or Netflix films which you think should have been released theatrically? As of Netflix, I know some of their movies they'll release for a day or something like that in a theater. There's not really one that I've seen that I can think of that really needed a theatrical release yet, but I think they'll get there. Straight to DVD movies, there's two that really stuck out to me, and both of them are DC animated movies. And for those of you that don't know, a lot of DC's animated movies, they are way better than most of the live action stuff, at least from these new DC movies we're getting. And really, I could probably add technically a third and a fourth, because if you count the Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 as one movie or two movies, whatever, I would have loved to have seen that on the big screen. But the two big ones for me are the Flashpoint Paradox, which first of all, the new Flash movie is going to be kind of based on the same movie. It's where Flash goes back in time and tries to save his mom, and it just ends up messing up history big time. And the big problem that happens is instead of Bruce Wayne's parents dying, Bruce Wayne dies. And then Bruce Wayne's dad becomes Batman. And that's why, whenever I talk about them doing Flashpoint in these new movies, we may get a Jeffrey D. Morgan Batman because he was Thomas Wayne. And then I won't spoil what happens to Martha Wayne. And no, it's not, just having the same name as Superman's mommy. The other movie I really would love to have seen on the big screen was Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, the uncut version. Though the regular version's fine, the uncut version kind of takes it a step further. It's fairly dark. I mean, I know DC's doing a lot of dark stuff now. I just watched Batman Gotham by Gaslight last night, and it was really dark. And I know the new Suicide Squad cartoon they're doing is going to be like a grindhouse film. I mean, literally a grindhouse film. And I know they're getting darker and darker and getting into our territory, which is not a bad thing because it gives them, a chance to do something interesting. But this one, Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, it took it dark before they even considered taking it dark. It also kind of finalizes Batman the Animated Series and gives us, a look at what happened and why Batman stopped, or why he had issues taking on partners and led up to him stopping. And there's all sorts of stuff that it deals with the animated series that the animated series never got to do because it ended. The next question from Daniel is there any films that you think would have been better as a TV show? Anything that was based on a longer book series would be a good call for me. Lord of the Rings, which technically maybe we're not sure what they're doing, but Amazon's making a Lord of the Rings series. It could be new stories. It could be the retelling. We don't know yet. The Hobbit would definitely be one, even though they stretched it to too many films. Movies like Alien Nation, which I know they had a TV series, but it only went for like a season or so, I think. So, I mean, stuff like that. The big one that I just was thinking about was Dark Tower. Because, I mean, that movie was chopped and minced to kind of a nothing movie, unfortunately. And I think a wise move at that one would have been to tell it episodically. Because honestly, you look at a movie or you look at a show like Westworld, and you could kind of see that, you know, you could do something with the Dark Tower instead of trying to cram into a movie where no one's going to understand what's going on. The next question from Daniel is there a book that hasn't been made into a film that I would look forward to seeing? One book series that I want to see either in cartoon form, like say on Netflix, like they did with Castlevania, or feature film. But granted, I kind of would rather see a TV series of this, but I would love to see a feature film as well. It would be the Drizzt Do'Urden books, based in the Forgotten Realms D&D world. I don't know why they've never made something like that into a movie or a TV show. I mean, it's so popular, and he's probably one of the most popular D&D characters. So, I mean, I know they tried making a Dragonlance cartoon, which, if you want to know my thoughts on that, I did a critical reviews of it a while back. And it was one of my favorite book series and involving my favorite character. But Drizzt Do'Urden is such a deep character that, you know, where he came from and what he went through, and then he had to go back, and there's just all sorts of stuff that would make for a compelling movie or TV show. So yeah, I picked the Drizzt Do'Urden books. The next question from Daniel is, since he's finished being Wolverine, that we know of, what would I like to see Hugh Jackman in next? You know, after seeing the movie Prisoners, I would love to see him do a revenge flick. Or one thing I always would like to see him do is a modern or noir detective story. I don't know why. I just can imagine him in the trench coat and hat with the loosened tie, you know, maybe a bit of a drinking problem. You know what I mean? I could just see Hugh Jackman pulling this off. I don't want to see him do another musical. And I know he loves doing musicals, but, you know, he needs to... When I saw him do Prisoners, it just... he clicked as an actor with me, other than something, you know, other than Wolverine. Because we'd seen him do Wolverine so long, but then, you know, you got movies like Les Mis and God's Sake Pan. You know, he's not getting to show, you know, everything that he is as an actor. I'd like to see him try like a cop drama or something like that. Like I said, especially after Prisoners, the revenge flick thing really sticks out to me. But I just love to see him as like a 30s cop, or even a modern like detective or something. It would just be something different for him. And like I said, I could just see the look on him. So that's something I think I'd like to see. The next question from Daniel is, what would I want in a Black Widow movie? Well, first I got to say this, and I've said this before. Have you seen the trailer for Red Sparrow? Because, I'm sorry, the one with Jennifer Lawrence, that one looks exactly what a Black Widow movie would be. So you know Scarlett Johansson's got to be pissed. What would I want in a Black movie? Not an origin story, but I would like to see her investigating her past, because she's always talking about, you know, Red in the Ledger or whatever. I could see the Winter Soldier being involved. To me, a Black Widow movie... for crying out loud, they've kind of already done it anyway. The movie Salt with Angelina Jolie kind of screamed Black Widow movie in a way, or at least, you know, a before Black Widow type movie, you know, where she was kind of a sleeper agent and stuff like that. And then one other thing I wouldn't mind seeing in a Black Widow movie, because I like the way they work together. There was a cartoon involving these two characters, and there's some comics involving these two characters, and that would be the Punisher. I know that technically they're all in the same universe, but they're not going to bring the TV people into the movies. I don't care. Give me John Bernthal Punisher, and fine, Scarlett Johansson Black Widow. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, but that's who's Black Widow. So I put those two together and do like a cool espionage movie. That would be cool to me. Next question from Daniel is, Greta Gerwig has had a lot of success on her first film. That'd be Lady Bird. What would you like to see her do next? A family drama. I don't want to see focused on one person though, kind of like Lady Bird is. Yes, it's a family drama too. I don't want to see her step too far out of her comfort zone yet, because she's just kind of getting started. But it would be cool to see her do a family drama and focus on 4 or 5 different characters as main characters. Get to see their perspectives, and it would kind of expand on what she did in Lady Bird, where they showed minor bits and pieces of the family, but I'd like to see a movie that kind of splits it evenly between characters. I think she would thrive in that. I'd like to see if she could handle it. I think she could. Lady Bird was such a strong character, and the minor characters are so strong, but I'd like to see her kind of even, like a dad, a mom, and 2 sisters or something, and even it out, and, kind of make it a nice family drama that's similar, not the same, but similar to Lady Bird. The next question from Daniel is, it's a shame that great talents like Faye Dunaway have to appear in movies like The Bye-Bye Man. Which bad movie of last year was the biggest waste of talented cast? This one's easy. Transformers: The Last Night. Here's a list of wasted talent. I'll say Mark Wahlberg, even though he's kind of on the fence with me right now, but listen to this. Anthony Hopkins, Stanley Tucci, John Turturro, then the voice cast, Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, John Goodman, Ken Watanabe, Steve Buscemi, John DiMaggio, Tom Kenny. I mean, you put all those actors in a blender with a bunch of poo, and look what kind of milkshake you're going to get. That's all I got to say. There isn't a movie that wasted this much great talent of last year. There's nothing that compares. The last question from Daniel is this. Have you ever seen With Nail and I? And if so, what is your opinion on it? No, I haven't seen it, so I can't really give an opinion. But you know what? I'll be right back.
2 hours later.
And we're back. After watching this movie and studying up on it a little bit, I didn't get a ton out of it. I enjoyed it. I could see why guys like Roger Ebert would put it on their really movie lists. If you would have told me that Harry Potter's uncle was gonna try to make sweet, sweet love to one of our main characters, I don't know if I would want to have seen that, but I like the characters in this. I'm not going to say I got a ton out of it. I really have to think about it, and being that I just saw it, I can't comment too much on it. Like I said, I can see where people are going to get a lot out of it if they do. There were some scenes that really made me laugh a lot. Just how inept the main characters were. It's the one guy that's the alcoholic, out of work actor. I know they're both actors, but the actor's name escapes me at the moment. But just his kind of I don't care take on life, and then the guy who's narrating it, the I know he has a name, but they didn't say it in the movie. There was debate on if that's really his name. Him. Finally, you got these 2 guys. One is giving up, and the other one, decides not to give up on their dreams. There's a good message there. But yeah, the movie itself, I enjoyed it. I don't know if I would put it on like I love this movie list or whatever, but I could see why people would. The next question is from Minion Jericho. What is my favorite Punisher story? It's not really the full story. I mean, you could name things like Welcome Back Frank or things like that. But mine is from The Punisher Volume 2, number 45, but it's not for the whole comic itself. And I do enjoy the whole comic. The comic is about someone is murdering cab drivers, and also there's this criminal that got off and he's made bail and he's out. And of course the Punisher's going to go after him, but also this person is murdering cab drivers and it's a different case. The thing that got me about this comic is it was one of the first times, see, this is like my third Punisher comic I ever bought. And back when comics were like $1. And what it was is the Punisher's undercover as a cab driver, and he finally picks up the person that was the one killing the cab drivers. And he set up this cab to, it was kind of a booby-trapped cab and armored and everything. But this person gets the jump on him, and then he finally starts to hear her story where she was left in a neighborhood and a cabbie wouldn't pick her up, and she ended up getting raped, and she was taking it out on the cab drivers. And it was the first time I got to see there was kind of two sides of the Punisher, because he says if she was hunting the rapist, he would have gave her tips and better guns to do it. But the fact that she was murdering cab drivers in cold blood, even though this is where I started to learn at an early age the mental state of the Punisher and how complicated it is, but then again how singular it is, because in his mind she's doing wrong, yet him murdering her is okay, because she gets the drop on him and he has to use this booby trap in the cab, which is like this he's got like a shotgun set up in the back seat to where he can push a button and it just will blow someone's head off. And it's that he didn't even, the only thought he gave it was, well, if she was going after this, I'd help her. If not, well, I got to stop you. And he gave her a chance, but he only gave her one chance, and she didn't take it. She's like, no, I'm going to kill you, and because it's your fault, even though it wasn't. But yeah, it was something that really showed me the complicated side of the Punisher, and it's always stuck with me. My first comic, just kind of introduced me to the character a little bit. The second comic dealt with freedom of speech because there was a flag burner involved, yet he had to defend the flag burner even though he didn't like flag burners. But then this one just really showed me that, he has this mindset that if you're in the wrong, you're wrong and you're dead. And that was just, and it's just shows his mental state, because again, if he is going to commit murder to stop a murderer, yet he thinks it's okay, he's just not right. The next question is from Holt Lego. What is your favorite war movie of all time? I can name things like Fury or Black Hawk Down or even Full Metal Jacket, which I'd argue, the first half of Full Metal Jacket is one of the best war movies ever. The second half's good. I think the first half's stronger, the boot camp stuff. My favorite war movie is Enemy at the Gates. It's about a Russian sniper that basically he's so good that the Nazis send their best sniper after him, and there's kind of this one-on-one battle of the skills and wits between this Russian sniper and this Nazi sniper. Jude Law is the Russian sniper, and Ed Harris is the Nazi sniper. And just, I love how methodical this whole movie is. I don't want to spoil too much, and I know it's an older movie, but just the back and forth between these two, is just really compelling, because they're both really good at what they do, and plus it gets to a point where there's stakes involved for our main character. And if you haven't seen Enemy at the Gates, it's one that I will highly recommend. Next up is from Just Keep That in Mind. He lives in my town, so you have to bear with me. I've got some local questions to answer here as well, but he always likes to send me some interesting questions, so here we go. First, I think it's time that you, me, and two dudes reviews who are also from around here should do a collaborative fat guy YouTubers from Decatur, Illinois video. Do you agree? I didn't know I was fat. Look, I want to work with other people. Send me an email, therealgeno@yahoo.com. That's REELGENO. Or direct message me on Twitter. We'll see what we can do. The next question from Just Keep That in Mind is, what the heck happened to Hickory Point Mall? That's our local mall. That place used to be awesome. It did. Look, no. Too high store rental and online sales. I mean, malls aren't really a thing anymore, even though some of them are doing okay. It's a mall, man. The malls just ain't where it's at anymore. We're getting old. Next question, Red Bull or Monster? Neither, but when I did, it was Red Bull because there was less of it and my heart couldn't take Monster. The next question, just keep that in mind. If and when they make a sequel to Get Out, do you think it'll be called Get In? No, it'll be called Get Outer, or no, really, Get Out. The next question, our current mayor is a former WAND news anchor. Which current WAND personality do you think should be the next mayor? The obvious answer is Sean Streety, because honestly, he's probably the only one that'll stick around. The next question, just keep that in mind. Would you tell my pet cockatiel Dusty that he's a pretty bird or a beautiful bird? Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Dusty, you're a pretty bird. The next question, just keep that in mind, is, are you still friends with Brad Jones? If so, would you tell him I'm sorry for all the wacky stuff I used to send him in the mail? He'll know what you're talking about. Yeah, I talked to him at Comic-Con St. Louis last weekend about it, and he said, no, you're not forgiven, and the restraining order still stands. I'm kidding, he told me about some of the stuff you sent. It sounded pretty funny. The last question, just keep that in mind, Walmart or Target? Depends. Target if I need to focus on specialty items, and Walmart for everyday low prices. The next question is from GamerBoy007. What is your favorite So Bad It's Good movie? That had to be UHF with Weird Al. That is one movie that I know it's dumb, and he knew it was dumb. If you watch the commentary or the quote-unquote deleted scenes of UHF, he tells you how dumb it is. But it's a movie that will get a smile out of me every time I watch it, no matter what. And I know, like, you know, Michael Richards isn't everyone's favorite person because of his tirade and everything, but you know what? I don't look at him that way, and that he's just Stanley Spadowski, you know, and he can make me laugh anytime. Got such a great cast, just silly character, silly premise, silly cutaways, just so imaginative. It made me try a Twinkie Wiener sandwich, which you can actually find the video on my channel of that, and boy, was that an interesting eat. There's just so much about that movie that just makes my day if I'm having a day. It always makes my day if I watch it, so yeah, that'd be UHF. The next question, and forgive me if I mispronounce your username, but Zepcern asks, alternatively, YouTube clearly needs fixed. How would you fix it beyond kicking out the Nazis and people who think suicide is hilarious? You know, they've got a big, you know, uphill battle ahead of them, and I think they're handling it wrong. The first thing they need to do is hire more people to look through videos. Look, I know they like getting their, you know, Google likes getting their big bonuses and everything for their higher ups, but use some of that money and hire more people and stop trusting a freaking algorithm to figure out whether or not a video is okay to watch. So stop being lazy, I guess, is the what I would do, is hire more people to put real eyes on videos. And yes, I don't know how many videos are uploaded every day, but you know what? They need to focus on them better and stop trusting a computer to think if something's okay or not. When I have a kids movie video saying that it's not okay to watch, even though it's cleaner than some of the stuff that some people put out that they're making money for, I don't get it. So they need to manually look at everything is the big thing, and they need to kick some people out. You're right. There's people that are doing stupid crap that are allowed to stay on that, you know, they need to have, and also they need to have some sort of maybe two strikes and you're out rule. You know, if you do something stupid like whatever that, which one was it? Logan Paul. I don't watch him. You know, he does something stupid like that, he gets one more chance. I know some people said he shouldn't get any. It's not my decision, but you know, depending on the offense, I think there should be kind of like a two strike rule. Um, I mean, there's stupid, and then there's, you know, offensively stupid. I mean, like a PewDiePie, you know, he did multiple stupid things. So, and yet he's still making however much he makes on YouTube. So they're not going to let their cash cow get away, I'm sure. So yeah, it'd be hire more. I would hire more people to look at every video that gets uploaded. You know, and if something becomes offensive after it's made money, well, then they get docked that money. You know, um, it's a tough idea on what to do. They needed to handle this stuff from the beginning. Was the problem is they got too big for their britches before they even knew what they had. So yeah, hire more people. Stop being lazy. Stop trusting computers to do your work for you. That's how I would at least start to fix it. And here's the last question from Zepzern. And again, if I mispronounce your username, I'm sorry. If you could have any superhero, no matter how obscure, get a movie based on them, who would it be? You know, I went through so many heroes trying to answer this question. But then it's like, oh, but they showed up here, or they're going to be making it, because there's so many superhero movies now. The one that really stuck out to me, though, technically the character exists. The character is based on a Robin character. In the original Teen Titans cartoons, Robin dressed up as a villain called Red X to infiltrate Slade, well, Deathstroke's group. And I always liked that story. I always like stories where someone has to infiltrate the villains, becoming one and having to fight their friends and everything as the villain. I would love to see a Red X movie. I was always interested in that character. And then later on, that character was, I don't even know if they even answered the question who he ended up being after the costume was stolen from Robin. But yeah, I'd like to see Robin going undercover as Red X infiltrating Deathstroke's group, whoever you want to give him. It could be the ones in the Teen Titans show, or just other DC villains or something. It'd be cool to see him, like, you know, going into whatever, or the Legion of Doom, or the Injustice League, or whatever we're going to call them, like infiltrating them. It'd be kind of an interesting story, because I just like that kind of story. And Robin hasn't really been represented well in live action movies. I mean, the two movies he was in the early days of Batman movies were meh. And, you know, he's been represented well in cartoon form, but of course now apparently he's dead in this new DC movie universe. So I'd like to see a Robin-led movie as Red X. That's the one I could really think of that is a character I really like that didn't get the play that it deserved. That's going to be all for the 1,000 subscribers Q&A. Again, I want to thank everyone that has stuck with me from the beginning, and the new subscribers, those of you that are helping me raise those hours up. We've got the subscribers. You had to have 1,000 subscribers, so we did that. You have to have 4,000 hours of views in 1 year. In this last 365 days or whatever I had, it was like 1,500 hours, so I'm still ways behind. I need about 2,500 hours, so just keep watching the videos. I'm trying to push the Brad and Geno Con Talk video, trying to get it up to like 3,000 views, because that would put me over the limit. But yeah, I'm just keep watching the videos, keep supporting the videos. I'm going to put out everything I can to try to fight this. Again, I'm not going anywhere if I don't make it, but I want to make it because I'd like to stick it to YouTube and just have that satisfaction. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep just doing what I do because I enjoy it. And, you know, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Geno Reynolds from The Real Geno.